It's been extremely slow as far as the monsoon progress for this year at least is concerned. As per the latest data, in fact, what we have is that the monsoons have been about 25% below normal so far. In terms of the sectoral distribution then, it's the north and the northeast where we've seen the rainfall which has been close to 14% below average. In central India though, they're lower by close to 26%. And the northwest part of the country, it's about 43% lower for that part of the country. In addition to that, the regions which are seeing some bit of excess rainfall, it's about 37% of the geographical spread of the country is seeing some normal to excess rainfall, but 67% of the total area is of course in the deficient zone right now. Do remember, monsoon progress of course is being tracked very closely by all market participants. This is also going to impact the kharif sowing as well. So what we've picked up so far is that sowing of paddy as well as coarse cereals as well as oil seeds so far has been below normal, and this of course is going to be another critical factor to see what kind of action the Reserve Bank of India takes in its next policy meet, which is scheduled towards the end of the month.
Skymet, a firm which tracks rain distribution, has indicated that there are 60% chances that this time monsoon for the year 2012 could be below the averages. Why are they predicting that? Let's discuss that with the Chief Executive Officer and the founder, Mr. Jatin Singh himself. Jatin, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Jatin, if I read portions of the con call which was organized by Edelweiss on Friday, you clearly have made a strong case that this time around monsoon will be way below normal.
No, actually right now the numbers are at 80. Our projection is that it's going to be about 85% below normal with a 40% chance of drought. And that has to do with the fact that there is a 60%, the correlation with El Nino is that for 60% of the droughts in India have happened in El Nino years, and this very much is an El Nino year. Also, this year is also IOD positive, that is the waters around East Asia are also warm. This is what the Japanese scientists from JAMSTEC has been advocating since February. So you kind of are in a situation where there are 2 pointers which are not in the favor of monsoon. You need to realize that 2009 was also an El Nino year where you ended up with a -20, with a -23. So therefore we think that the juice for the monsoon in 2012 is missing.
So where is the situation most grim in terms of regions according to you?
You see, the geographical distribution of a forecast for monsoon is generally very poor. But if you look at a consensus across all models, then you find out that Rajasthan, West Rajasthan, North Gujarat, West Madhya Pradesh, the adjoining parts of Haryana and Punjab to Rajasthan are, which we think are at highest risk. And also that El Ninos correlate quite well with droughts in northwest monsoon. Correlate quite well with droughts. I'm not saying, not to say that if there's an El Nino there will be a drought, but it's generally very well correlated. The second area of risk, I think, right now is varying. We think that the second area of risk is going to be east and northeast, even though east and northeast right now is doing at a -14%. Which is not that bad, but we think that later in the monsoon around September and August there could be a sharp drop in that region.
Have you done some work on monsoon and how this could impact crop cultivation?
We think this year that if you look at the major crops, the major kharif crops, paddy could have a problem because sowing is generally being late. Now, with the kind of rainfall that we've seen in northwest India over the last week, it went down from -71 to -43. Central India is also going to start raining in a couple of days. Paddy cultivation should pick up, but these will be late sown varieties which generally give lower yield. So we're looking at paddy. Well, our projection is that it should be down by about, say, 15% or so. We think that central India crops like soybean and cotton should be able to scrape through. Coffee, we think, would also have a problem this year. Arhar, for example, the pigeon pea, we think is also going to have a problem, especially the one that is sown in North India.
Right.
In East India.
Then what are the historical trends? We've seen a slowdown in June, but what's the likelihood that now, this month, it can actually pick up in the regions which are facing a deficit?
You see, okay, now if you look at the distribution, it's 17, 33, 33 and 17 between June and September. June was quite below. you need to look at it in perspective. If it picks up in July and rainfall is picking up, we expected a recovery in July, which is mostly centered on central and north India. You also need to realize that the averages are also higher. So there is a recovery. We expect a recovery. But our sense is that over the next 3 months, will the recovery bring you back to zero or normal? We are not very enthusiastic about that. We hope that happens, but I don't think that's going to happen. Also, you need to realize that, on the 4th, the total rainfall was running at a deficit of -30%. On a 130-year historical average, you look at -30 is the worst case scenario. So statistically, a recovery is imminent. Will the recovery go all the way up to normal? I think, I think that is the chances are quite narrow.
Is the current situation reminding you of what we saw in 2009, or this year's monsoon picture is even worse than 2009?
Too early to say. We think, you can't really put a percentage, because I remember, I think it was 2011, 10 or 11, where in July you were running at a -18%, but because it was a La Nina year, and La Nina years are correlated well with the monsoon, the monsoon was 102%. So you can't mirror it. For instance, July 2009 finished at a -4%, whereas the season as an average finished at -23%. So the monsoons generally don't mirror, even below normal or drought patterns are not mirror images of each other. But there is one thing, that this year El Nino comes into full in August and September. So I mean, we've been saying on this channel that we think that the risk will probably come in the latter part. The serious risk could probably come in the latter part of the monsoon. But yeah.
Okay, Jatin, good speaking with you. Appreciate you taking the time out and joining us today on ET Now.